to you by AXA. Investments, insurance and superannuation.
Good morning. The violence in East Timor hit home overnight when a car was set on fire in the parking compound of the Indonesian consulate in Adelaide Terrace. The late model Mercedes was destroyed. A car next to it was damaged, and so too was the consulate building. Damage has been estimated at around $150,000. Meanwhile, moves continue to stop the massive abuse of human rights in East Timor. Federal Cabinet was due to meet to finalise plans for a peacekeeping mission, hopeful that the Americans will join in.
Information coming out of East Timor is drying up. The number of journalists, observers and UN staff has plummeted. But reports indicate that thousands of East Timorese are still being forced into West Timor, some figures as high as 200,000. The spotlight, though, sits on the probability of Indonesia being pressured into accepting an international force. There's a chance we'll have confirmation of that by tomorrow.
We are confident now that the Americans would provide at least logistical support.
Britain, Canada, New Zealand, Malaysia and Thailand are said to be ready to contribute to an international force. Latest reports add a touch of intrigue to the situation. Special Air Service soldiers from Perth, experts in covert combat, are said to have deployed to an island off East Timor. Their mission, anyone's guess. Meantime, unions are expected to increase action against Indonesian goods and services, with Garuda a prime target. Tom Drool, National 9 News.
More than 30 people have died in the earthquake which has hit the Greek capital, Athens. The death toll is expected to rise. Greek authorities say there are many still buried under rubble. The quake, measuring 5.9 on the Richter scale, struck the poorer suburbs of the city. Checking the weather, the best news this morning is the weather fine. The forecast, a maximum of 19 degrees expected today, and another fine day tomorrow. But we are looking forward to showers on Friday and Saturday. We'll be back with more news at 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. 2 vehicles at the Indonesian consulate in Perth were badly damaged overnight by fire. Police say a Mercedes was set ablaze and the fire spread to a vehicle nearby, then scorched a section of the consulate itself. Damage is put at around $150,000. A UN delegation has arrived in Jakarta to try to persuade Indonesia to stop the violence in East Timor or allow a peacekeeping force into the former province. Canberra, meanwhile, has closed the Australian consulate in Dili. Staff will be evacuated by Australian military aircraft. Former Eagles star Brett Heddy is in hospital with a crushed pelvis and lacerated leg. A water tank Heddy was repairing on Wedge Island fell on him. Well, it's on again. In less than 3 weeks, the 1999 Perth Royal Show will be upon us. The launch, with a preview of animals, activities, Aboriginal dancing, African music and more, was announced this morning. Fine today in Perth with a high of 19. We'll have more news at 3 o'clock. Good afternoon. Indonesia now seems to have rejected an early deployment of foreign troops in East Timor. A spokesman has indicated that no decision would be made before next month. Meanwhile, President Habibie will not be attending the APEC meeting in New Zealand. Last week it was Shell. Today BP began selling lead replacement petrol, but at a service station with a difference. BP says the station is solar powered. And the launch today of the lead-up to this year's Royal Show. On display, a selection of the attractions that will be on offer. We'll be back with more news at 4 o'clock. Stay with us here on 9.